What's going on, people? How are we doing? Welcome back to the Red Devil Circle. Guys, at this point, enough has been said about the Brentford loss. Enough has been spoken about it. A lot has gone on between that time. There's some Champions League matches today to at least take your mind off things, but it was still a horrible loss, and it is still roaming back there in our minds. How does this team move forward? How does this team improve? And today I want to answer the question, how does Amorim survive until January? And that's what we're seeing there on the description. How does he survive till January? I'm going to take you on 5 points I've written down on how he gets through till January. And I do not take these points lightly. He needs to implement them if he wants to survive. Just because, for one, he gets some of the fans that have probably started leaning on the Amorim out, and also the fans that are still backing him. Which, from when I had watched United stand the other day, it's been 50-50, which is majority of the fan base who follow that channel. So it looks like it's 50-50, about 50-50. So how do you get some more fans back on your side? Because the first thing is we need to win back-to-back games in a row, and also you have to make the changes that the fans want to see, not necessarily because of the fans. Obviously, you handle the training, you look at the players, you do all these things, but there are some things that can be fixed that have been broken for a while, and we've been supporting this team long enough to see things that you don't see. You get what I mean? Sometimes the fans know better, and you have to listen to that, especially when the results are not going your way. You can't just be strong headed. You don't want to get yourself sacked. And I'm gonna pose 5 points on how he keeps his job. And like I said earlier, this has to be taken seriously by Amorim. Number one, the goalkeeping situation. I mean, this was one of the strongest debates during the transfer window. Do we fix the midfield? Do we go for the goalkeeping? Do we go for a good goalkeeper? Do we change the goalkeeper right now? This was one of the strongest points, and the fact that we still have a goalkeeper right there who wasn't performing at all, who's been shit for a long time, alongside Onana. We've managed to get rid of Onana, very very unexpected. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that shit. It's not your circus, not your monkey, right? So time to play Lament. It is time to play Lament. We've heard a lot of good stuff about him in training, and right now, like a lot of people, I'm asking what the fuck, what is happening? But seeing this manager and his character, I feel like he's promised certain players that if you perform well, you're going to you're going to keep your spot. And he probably doesn't want to be a manager that's going to go back on his word. And I get that because we've had managers who gone back with their words, not play the person in form, and then you lose the dressing room, you lose trust in players. Ten Hag was definitely a culprit to that. But this is a different situation because buying there, any goalkeeper who's played the game, any fan who's watched the game thoroughly will tell you that buying there absolutely sucks in goal. He's not the best option in goal right now. You can place Tom Heaton ahead of him, but apparently Tom Heaton is just there for vibes, not vibes, but to keep the dressing room together. So I'd rather see Tom Heaton in goal. Because guess what? If he's a character in the dressing room, he can be a character behind that defensive line, and he can yell things at them that ought to be said that's probably not being said by in there, and maybe a young goalkeeper like Laments. But we haven't seen Laments. You need to give him a chance. I feel like maybe there's one goal in that last game against Brentford that you'd reckon by in there should be saving. Well, yeah, I can't really put all everything on him, but I reckon Lamens will do a better job, and we just haven't seen that player play. And he needs to be given a chance. He needs to be given a chance. He's been brought into the team with expectations of his potential, and you need to give him a chance to show that potential. So I don't know what the backstory to this buy-in the deal is, but we need to absolutely get a move on it and start playing someone we brought in to play the position. We need to give him chances, opportunity to grow. Moving on, I'm gonna talk on Maguire. We're onto defense now. My second point of the night. Um, by the way, it's not here like almost 6:30 or so, or maybe more. During the time of recording this video, and it's getting a bit dark, so I'm just run through it a little bit before we lose the little sunlightning. You know, I mean, the sun is setting, and we need to get a move on it as well. So Harry Maguire, he needs to go to the bench. He's a bench option, especially for this system. Maybe he won't be a bench option in a different system or in a different team or with a different manager. But with this system, with this set of boys, with this set of muchachos, that's Spanish by the way. We need to bench Harry Maguire. He cannot play this system. You can see, I think, with the second or probably the first goal, he was playing the high line because that's what the system is. You have to be able to play the high line, and he wasn't able to recognize his positioning quick enough. He tried to set an offside track that wasn't there, and we absolutely got rinsed after that. It was a beautiful goal from the Brentford striker. I think his name was Thiago or something. I can't remember, but that was a Maguire mistake, and he wasn't able to track back because he's slow. He's slow. There's no better way to say it. He's not able to play that position in a system that requires you to recover quicker, to run back quicker. So why are we doing this? That's my only problem with Amorim. Why are we doing this? You're putting your job on the line for false promises you've probably given to players that probably don't even deserve to play. He is a bench option at best. Don't There's no need for you to put your job on the line for someone that kisses your ass and gives you a little bit of candy. It's trash. It's trash mentality from the coach as well. Like, you're complaining about the player's mentality, but your mentality is to give someone a chance who hasn't deserved a chance, or someone a chance who doesn't fit into your system, or someone a chance because he just kissed your ass in the back room. It's not how you're supposed to manage, especially when you're trying to get a tune out of the team. You're in a high pressure position. You've obtained one of the hardest jobs in world football, in world sports, by the way. It is the hardest job in the sporting world right now, in my opinion. You don't want to miss any small details. You don't want to give anything to chance. So Harry Maguire has to go on the bench because, from my point of view, before he gave Maguire the start 2 games ago, Maguire wasn't starting a lot of games. He wasn't making the team. He wasn't even he was barely brought off the bench. Unless we were trying to nick in the last minute goals. That was it. But I remember Maguire kissed his ass in the press. It was a press conference or something before the game, and he started playing Maguire. The past two games, Brentford, I think it was Man City, no, not Man City. I'm not sure, but the past two games he's put Maguire in, and he's played Maguire. I definitely Chelsea, Brentford. I think that's how it went. He's played Maguire, and Maguire doesn't suit the system, and you need to get a hold of that situation and say, look, this is my guy. Because in that last game, what did we learn? We learned that don't want to, you don't want to pick Delete on the right wing because he was unsure how to play that position. You see when he got spun by Thiago and he chested the ball and was able to advance with the ball and get in a good spot where we couldn't recover from that. You can't keep changing your backline. That's also something else we've learned. That's an extra point of discussion for you. We need to maintain a stable backline, and you have to play the players that best suit for the system. So Delete has to go back to his specialist position in the middle. Euro, I don't know what Euro has done to you, apart from maybe making a minor. He's been almost consistent player until he got axed out of the team. So he needs to come back on that right side, especially with Mazraoui being injured and very injury prone. That I so much detest injury prone players. I don't want to deal with them. I can't even explain to you. Even when people were singing Martial, so injury prone, I absolutely, it disgusts me. I hate that. Just deal with the players that are available day to day. The players that can show up every day, no matter how shit they were. Those are the players that matter. So I don't care about Majari right now. You're back on the right. Just maintain a stable backline. So we know what we're doing. We know what we're going into the game with. This is probably his last chance to keep his job. And like I said, how do you keep your job until January, where we can actually get some reinforcements, maybe some wing backs, some midfield. You never know what the sport is gonna do for you, but give yourself the best chance to survive. Because I do like the manager, but he's reached a point where he's coming to a lot of questions. Because we cannot be in that position in the league. We cannot not have back-to-back wins in a row for how long now? It's crazy. So he needs to fix those things. Um, I'm gonna move on. Heaven needs to come in. Absolutely, give me some heaven. I need some heaven right now. I'm tired of the hell Luke Shaw has given to me. Put heaven back on the left position. I mean, what did these players ever do? I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Maybe they made a mistake just from being young stars in one game or so in the preseason or something like that. That's what you get with young players. But at least their mentality hasn't been absolutely sunk by these players who have been in the club for so long, and they've got a brain rot. They cannot recover from that brain damage of losing the 7-0 against Liverpool and all the bad track history or track record they've had. It's still messing with them mentally because once you throw in a little adversity, they're back to they just dip. They can't recover from it. It's flashbacks. They're like, I don't know. I don't want to say something that's gonna be so messed up, but it's like they went to war in Afghanistan, pretty much. Like they're so mentally fucked. So yeah, just bring Heaven back, and I even worry for that because Heaven hasn't gotten minutes, and I feel like he should have. Like he showed a consistent run of form last season, and he was one of our better players. So what is going on with that? The manager is not showing the balls that I expected from him at the moment. Um, it seems like favoritism all of a sudden. So Shaw has to go on the bench. He's shown enough to say, dude, sit on the bench, and maybe when I need you in a position where maybe we need to maintain a win, which I wouldn't even bring him on to do that. But in a position whereby maybe we need a little bit of experience to get through, then I can bring you on. But I wouldn't trust Shaw with that. But I would obviously trust Maguire if you're trying to, change things a little bit to try to keep keep a keep a lead. He can be one of those players where he's in the back line and he's just orchestrating things from there. But in a position where you're doing the high press and you're trying to get goals, you're trying to create goals, you can't have Harry Maguire in the back because you're not breaking through the lines. It's sideways passes or launch the ball forward. You cannot do the same things, and obviously you cannot be as effective in a system where you need to be effective. So yeah, and it's with those changes, everyone's complaining about Dogu, but just the inconsistent team sheet that he puts out every week is obviously gonna be causing a strain on Dogu's head. Like he doesn't know what to work with. He doesn't know how things are supposed to work anymore. That's too much. Just maintain the back line. Stop the bullshit. So yeah, please bring Heaven back and to hell with Luke Shaw. Okay. Um. So I'm gonna touch on the midfield. Very, very I don't know, touchy subject or whatever. But this is for me. I said it even before preseason. It's the biggest problem in 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 our lineup. It's the biggest problem in Amorim's system, and I think he realized it after preseason games. But I realized that way. Like, name me one team that doesn't put emphasis on their midfield. Just one. You cannot. You cannot omit the midfield. You cannot do that. It's the biggest. It's the biggest. It's the biggest. It's the biggest one. Like, look at Madrid. They splashed on the midfield a few seasons ago because they know what was needed. Jude Bellingham, Trumini, they know how important the midfield is, and trying to transition away from Toni Kroos and Modric, it is very vital to winning games. Very vital. And in the Premier League, where the physicality is way up there, that is where you need to invest a lot of cash. You need to splash 250 million on just the midfield. I'm telling you, like, it's so important, and we've missed that, and we're struggling with getting consistency out of the team. And I'm just probably gonna say, like, fixing the midfield could be the solution to all of these problems that I probably just mentioned. It's that important. It's that important. And Bruno doesn't work in the midfield, but yeah, I'm not saying that wing backs are important. The goalkeeper isn't important. They're very important, but the midfield is super important as well. Because if you need the pillar to be strong enough to hold the building up, you need the pillars in the right position. That means the midfield has to know their position well. They need to be specialists in their position. So yes, midfield he has to fix. And to start with, he needs Bruno out of that 8 position. Bruno can play as a 10. Cunha was rusty last game and made some bad decisions going forward. At some point, I would have benched him a lot earlier. after seeing that, but he chose to stick with that for a long time. I don't understand why Xerxes isn't playing as well, but at this point in the season, with so much inconsistency, in my opinion, what I had thought, because I'm not Amorim, but I'm trying to understand what he's thinking. He's probably saying, "Look, experience is more better than youth, but experience has fucked you in in the ass so much. You obviously need to go back to youth and use that experience from the bench because they're damaged goods. Like I said, they've had a brain rot, and that just reminds me the interview from Owen Hargreaves. He's highlighted Amorim himself, highlighted the fact that, and from what I'm hearing, this interview probably came out before the game, the Brentford game. It was made before the Brentford game. So what it makes me even more confused because why would you pick that team with majority of the people who have been inconsistent for fucking years and cost us a lot and sack managers? You have majority of that team in your starting lineup. Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, you can keep going. Harry Maguire, you can keep going on and on. That the problem is not too far off you. Like it's looking you in the eye. Open your fucking eyes. You know what I mean? Open your fucking eyes. Um, if the best thing to do with those players, the best thing is probably to get them out the club, but you're not gonna do that now. It's probably leave them on the bench. So when they see the players with the right mentality playing, maybe they can try to blend in there, just one by one, small pickings. Maybe try to blend in there, but you can't have a shitload of them in the team, and it just messes up the whole squad. And how soon before other players get messed up? Other players that he mentioned in the interview, he knows the mentality is the problem, and he highlighted the fact that the older players their mentality is bad. Like they can't come back from adversity. They can't turn lemons into lemonade because they've had bad so much. They have so much flashbacks and they're not able to deal with it. They're not able to deal with a little bit of adversity. So those are the players you need to use as second-hand tools. Keep them on the bench. It's so easy. How do you state the problem and then you do the things that creates the problem? It's mind blowing. But maybe he looks at that interview, at least it's come out today, and he fixes the problems because that's what needs to be done. So midfield, our best options for those two, especially obviously we know he's not going to change the system, but also in the interview he said that he will change the system. I don't really get that. I don't want to really dive into that, but Menu, Ugarte, Casemiro, that's the only thing that will work. However you want to switch that up and mix it up and smash it up and blend it up, I do not care. Those are the three midfield that you can manage with. And Casemiro is rash and all that. So you can switch between those. Maybe Ugarte sometimes, which he's horrendous by the way, but we can manage until January. Like I said, how does he survive till January? Casemiro, Menu, Ugarte. That's your midfield lineup. Don't mess it up. Don't try to put Bruno in his damaged goods. If you want to play Bruno, play him in the 10 where he can fuck up and peacefully leave the rest of the team out of it. You know what I mean? Play him in the striker. Let him strike. You know what I mean? Like, don't put him in a position where it's going to cost the team. So, that's what we have to do. My midfield lineup, Casemiro and Minu. And I feel like Casemiro's experienced enough. They know when to go forward and backward. Because when he's playing Casemiro, he loves to let him go forward. I'm very sure that's because of his aerial ability. Because that's for the same reason he asked Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund can score you a good goal. He can strike a ball, but he's not good aerially. So he went with Benjamin Sesko, who's more rounded as a striker, and you can tell he lets Casemiro go forward because Casemiro's aerial ability is better. But what you're gonna get in the expense of that is the recovery. Casemiro can't do that. He's not that young, so you need Casemiro and Manu there to, because sometimes Manu likes to go forward too. So when Manu's going forward, Casemiro is covering. When Casemiro's forward, Manu's covering. So that's what you need. That's what you need there. Or better still, just play Ugarte and Manu because that's what really worked in the preseason. Or Ugarte and Casemiro. You can't really go wrong with that. But I rest my case. I rest my case. That's what I want to get out of my system. There's still a chance to save this for Amorim. I really hope he doesn't get sacked, but he's a very stubborn lad, and maybe someone needs to, maybe his wife, just give him a little slap in the back of the head and tell him to wake up, or toss some ice water on his face and show him the facts. Maybe he's sleeping right now, getting some rest. Grab some ice water, boom, on his face, on the bed. Show him the shit. Say, "Bah, bitch, look, you know what I mean? Like, look, this is what needs to be done." And I rest my case, guys. Thank you for watching. I thoroughly enjoyed this video and breaking things down about our problems and how we can fix them. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let me know in the comments what you would change and if you still want to keep Amorim. And I'm pretty sure everyone likes how he talks, so it's probably the only reason why no one's trying to kick him out or drive him back to Portugal right now. So let me know in the comments how you feel about this manager still, and if you wanna ride or die with him. And tell me how you think he should fix these problems that we have. At least until January, until we can make some changes. But thank you all for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.